Okay, we should start.
Yeah, please.
No, no, I'm saying we should start then.
Yeah. So yesterday we left at functional programming in Python. So anybody can tell me what is functional programming? As the name suggests.
Reusability means we can write the code and we can store that and we can call only function.
Yes, correct.
And
Execute
use of existing functions in our programming.
Correct.
Yes.
Use of existing, create function. Anybody else? Okay, great. So as we are already going to studies, just wanted to hear from some of you if you know this one. So see, like I have written two examples I have given here. Obtaining a cup of tea. One approach is that how can obtain a cup of tea? You will make coffee at your home by following all the steps from taking coffee pot to drink coffee. Load the pot with the coffee grounds, add water to the coffee pot, place the coffee pot on the stove, turn the stove on, wait until coffee is done, pour coffee into a cup. Do you like sugar? If yes, then add sugar. Either you do not add sugar and then drink coffee, right? This is known as how to solve a problem. Step by step you are doing, right? Now another approach is that you have a local coffee shop around where you are looking to have a cup of coffee, and there is a barista, and you're telling that I had like a cup of coffee with a 1 teaspoon of sugar, right? And the barista will prepare for you and give you the cup, and you drink it without concerning yourself with the details of how it was made. So in previous scenario, you know how to solve a problem, but in this one where you are getting the coffee from barista, what problem to solve? You are only looking for the coffee, right? Here you ordered, got the coffee. In how to solve a problem, you follow the complete process of uh, preparing that coffee. So which one is shorter? In which way you will get the coffee very fast?
Second one.
Second one. So this is the two approach, because sometimes you have to suppose that there is no any barista or no any coffee house around your home or wherever you are, and you want to have a cup of tea. Definitely you will go with the how to solve a problem. You will prepare the coffee at your home, and if you're looking to have a cup of tea. But if you know and you want to save your time, and you know that this brand is offering very nice and very I like that coffee whatever that brand is offering, without any second thought you'll go there and order and get the coffee, right? So what a problem to solve and how to solve a problem, these are the two approach we have to understand. So you see, this how to solve a problem is known as imperative programming, and what problem to be solved is known as declarative programming, and functional programming is a declarative programming. Here our most of the approach is related to not knowing how the problem was solved. Only the approach should be what a problem to solve, what tools I have or what tools I can create, so that I have to not always go on the stepwise. So if you say what is functional programming is a coding style where your approach is to use the existing tools, like in the case of coffee you are using barista, right? Here in the functional programming in Python, when you start to do this type of coding styling, you will try to use what is the existing function which I can use. Clear? And in this code is a structure primarily in the form of functions. Mostly functions are used in functional programming, as the name suggests. And from where this functional name came, it arises from a branch of mathematics, and that branch of mathematics was known as lambda calculus. Lambda calculus has given this term functional programming, right? So are we at high level, we have some clarification of what is functional programming? Have some understanding now?
Yes, sir.
Till now, any confusion? So now next. So see this list I have written here, number list. It's a 12, 6, 7, 2, 1, 5, 9, 10. I want to sort this list. One approach in the left side one, I will take that list, loop each element by one, then I'll run again one another loop. I'll check one element with all the elements. Is that number is less than from all the numbers, then put this number at first place. I've moved this first place number in the next place from which we are shuffling, right? Till my complete list is not sorted. So this is how to solve a problem example. Another is you are using one function provided by Python, which is the sort. List.sort, pass that list and we have the sorted list. So what problem to solve? It doesn't matter how to solve. It's just solving. We have a function. So in which approach there is more chances of error, left one or right one?
Left one.
Left one means how to solve a problem. I'm writing lots of code, maybe some logical error. The approach, maybe some, not all the conditions are covered, but someone has created this sort function, Python is created. So it's not a single developer work, it's a team of works. Since many years people are using this sort function, so there is no chance that this sort function will be failed or will give any error. So being a good Python developer and writing a good Python code means your approach should be moved forward in the direction of functional programming. So this will help your code to be more concise, right? Which one is more concise, this one or this one?
Second.
Definitely. Yeah. Now, there are some programming concepts in functional programming has some concepts. What are those things we have to take care while writing the functional programming? So here are the 4 points I mentioned here. That function should be pure function. Mostly we'll use the recursion. I think you people are aware about recursion, right? Anybody know recursion? What is recursion? No?
Repetitive action which follows the
Yeah, we are calling that function again and again.
Calling that function again and again till it's not terminating a particular condition, right?
Boundary condition, yeah.
Yes, there should be always some condition where it should be terminated. Either it will be in infinite loop, right? So recursion is we're calling the same function by its another function, same function. And another is functions are first class and can be higher order. Functions are first class means we try to pass function as a parameter to another function. Like we pass data as a parameter or argument in functions, what we will pass here? Function as a parameter. And variables are immutable. Here variables are immutable means suppose that you are writing a function and you have declared some global variables, and your approach in functional programming should be that all the global variables or outside the variables from that function should not be modified in any way in that function. Right? So let us see in detail here. See here. So what is pure function? Pure function is a deterministic function with no side effect. Deterministic means here this function is determined to do for the purpose it is written, it should only do that one, no any other output it will give. Like I've written here definition, like in Python we write def then function name, definition x comma y as an argument then return x plus y. So we always know that whenever we pass these two numbers, like we are passing 2 and 3, what the value this will return? What is the value this function will return if we pass 2 and 3? 5. So it will never return any time 6 or 7 or a 10 or anything, right? Deterministic. And no side effect. No side effect means if I am declaring any variable which is in the out of a scope of that function, maybe that global variable or something, that should not be changed under that function. If you are changing any variable which is out of a scope of this function, that is not a pure function, right? And that there is a side effect. See here is the example. Like no side effects, it should be produce same output for the same arguments, and no side effect means it does not change or modify the input variable. Like here I have written sum equal to 0. I am writing a function definition add x comma y, and then I am writing sum equal to x plus y. So what here I am doing, I am modifying this global. Although is fulfilling our need that sum will be you can print, but this is not right approach to write the result here and modify this global variable. Then we are saying that it has a side effect. Then how you can convert in the pure function this one? Even you have declared sum equal to 0, your function will look like this: add x comma y, and whatever the operations you want to perform here and return the value, it will come to, you'll call this function, pass the value, and then get the result. So here we are modifying the sum under the function, and here we are not modifying sum under this function. We are calling the function and then getting the result. So are you looking what is the difference between these two? How left one is not a pure function, how right one is a pure function? Can anybody acknowledge if understood, or tell me if not understood? I can explain this one.
It's understandable. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for confirming. Okay. So using recursion instead of loop. We know that if you want to do some repeated work, like we want to keep calling using the for loop or while loop in functions, and so if you're writing functional programming, you should avoid that approach, right? In place of that, we will try to use recursion. Recursion is not the thing that is very easy to use everywhere, but as much as possible, you should use the recursion. And this is the nature of, or you can say template of recursive function is like you write definition, the recursive function name, you are passing some parameter, and there is some condition where you're terminating that recursive function and then calling again with a new parameter, right? So see the one example here. How a recursive function is look like. You are looking to find a factorial of a number. So this will like, you will call this function from somewhere, you will pass the value 5, it will check 5 is less than equal to 1, then it should terminate here. Either 5 into factorial 5 minus 1 means 4 will come here. Then again 5 into 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then it will terminate it. So this will return the complete factorial of a number. So clear? This is how you will try to always use the recursive function in functional programming. Now, passing function as argument to other function. This is sometimes also known as the function as a first class citizen. Means when you write a program in functional programming, you can pass function as argument to other function. Right? How? See an example here. Like I have two functions here. One is doing add x comma y, x plus return x plus y. Subtraction I am doing x comma y, return x minus y. Then what I am doing, whatever the result coming, this function is making 3 times of the value. So see here, times 3, 2, 4, 8. So first this will, which function will be called? Add or times 3? This function, and this. Which function will you first call if writing this one?
Add time 3 function will be called, and then within this function, add function will be called.
Yes. When within that add will be called, it will return as 4 plus 2, 6. It will return here. And then it will multiply and the return 18. 18 will come here, right?
Yeah.
And this will assign to this. So what is happening here? This is the function. Within that I am passing a function. Right? Here. So this is how we are passing function within function. We can optimize at next level also this one. So for this one, we have one lambda function. Functional programming promotes the concept of brevity when writing. Brevity means concise, right? Concise, how we can use this one in while writing the code. First you know the lambda. Lambda function is a special type of function without the function name. And it's look like you write lambda. Lambda is a keyword. Then arguments, then some expression using those arguments. For example, here, if you write def times 3 a comma b function, I return 3 into function. From here, I have written this one. This function I have written, right? And I have not written this one. But same work here is doing. How? 2, 4, I have in place of calling this function here, then calling this one, what I'm doing, I'm using lambda. I've written lambda. This is the format, lambda, lambda. Then the arguments were x and y, right? So there is 2 and 4. It will automatically come here, 2 and 4. And what the expression is here. So what it will do? It will sum up. It will return 2 plus 4 equal to 6, right? Once you have this one, this will total pass to here, right? And after multiplication, it will return 18, right? So this is how lambda function works.
Sir, can you please explain once again lambda function?
Here you see it's written, this is the format of lambda. Lambda, arguments, right?
Parameters we don't define, sir. Parameters.
These arguments are the parameters, same thing.
Okay.
Arguments and parameters the same thing, right?
Okay.
Here are the arguments or parameters. You can same thing. You can treat this one, and this is the operation. It's showing whatever the result is there, it will come to here and this will get operated, and this will return, and this will be 18. So now, how many lines of code reduced here? Anybody can tell me from here to here? Fast. Anybody can tell me how many lines of code reduced? These two lines, 4 lines. 4 lines reduced, right?
Yes, yes, Jay.
Yeah. So this is we have concised the code. So if you are a better Python developer or good developer in skills in Python, you should have see this approach. Probably you get chance to have to review or get the code of some expert written Python code. You will see that their code sometimes will look like, if you only know the basics of Python, it will look like a very encrypted programming. But basically that is not encrypted. Those all the codes are written in functional programming styling, right? You are writing 100 lines of code and they have written in that one code in the 20 lines. Until you not understand the functional programming, it will be hard to understand what they have written in their 20 lines of code, right? So these days, and also advantage of being writing in the functional programming is, if you're writing 100 lines of code and that is reduced to 20 lines of code, where is the chances of the more error? Definitely in the 100 lines of code.
Yeah.
And 20 lines of code will be less chances. Where debugging will be easy, 20 lines of code or 100 lines of code?
20 lines of code.
Definitely 20 lines of code will be easy to debug. So these are the advantages of being writing in a functional program. This is a approach, this is the practice, this is a style. I think it's a regular way by keeping this mindset that what if I'm writing functional, if writing Python scripts, my approach should be write the code in some functional way. I will use the approach of declarative programming, right? So what are those advantages? Definitely there is a readability and conciseness is there. Concise means they are concised, narrow down, right? Pure functions better than impure functions, definitely. Modularity and reusability is there. You have already some function existing, or Python has created some function. Even you can create some packages and functions and can use those functions many places according to your need. Parallel and concurrent programming is possible. That is a bigger advantage. If your operating system or programming language is supporting multi-threading, at the same time functional programming, two functions are there, they can execute parallelly. This is the advantage of functional programming. Easier debugging, expressive high order function, functional composition. Functional composition means within one function it can use multiple functions. Ease of testing, if code is very less, already some functions I am using which are tested, definitely ease of testing is there is ease in testing. And then there is a mathematical foundation. As we have already discussed that where that function programming came from, lambda functions. So foundation is the mathematical. Your code should be more tends towards like a mathematical formula. Now this is over, and I hope you understood about what it is function programming, right? Any question? You are not audible. Can you speak loudly, please?
I think you can show some more examples, that would be great, but it's interesting. Yeah, we need to try out and see how it goes.
Yes, please try, as we have some short times. Actually, we are covering the yesterday one today. So time is shifting for this one as well, for today one, right? We have already covered 30 minutes for this one, right? So more and more example. One is Google, some examples of, I have already given some idea. Barista one, and you're cooking, preparing coffee yourself, right? So this is the same thing. And what are the tools offering by Python? You have to just know, and it will come